Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial with me, Shruti Shakar. Today I have another tutorial detailing on how to add background score to your filmmaking. However, as I've always mentioned in all of my videos, when it comes to adding detail to your filmmaking, it's very important that you have the fundamental basics of your film, which is your storyboard as well as a brainstorming session on when you want to film, how you want to film, etc. When it comes to brainstorming on what you want to do for background score, again, that is something that you usually do towards maybe the end of your filmmaking when you're coming to your editing portion after you've already filmed everything. But it's also good to keep in mind what kind of music you want to use in specific settings and what kind of emotion you want to evoke. I'm going to talk a little bit about the different types of emotions that are created with background score, as well as give you a short tutorial on how to edit background score into your film so it's transitionally done well, seamless, doesn't sound bad, and is easy to understand. Now, what is background score? First of all, background score is your music that's added in films. Music can create every kind of emotion that is there. Someone could be in a conversation with someone else and they'll be fighting. It's very standard with the words that they're using that you can tell that they're fighting. However, music, when it's added, can create such a huge emotion and can create more emphasis on the angry conversation that you're having. The types of music that's added in your films can vary. The first one is emotion evoking. Now, emotion evoking is very standard. Of course, you can have something where you are talking with someone and you're very happy and ecstatic. You might have something that's jumpy, something that's exciting, or maybe when you're talking about someone that you had a fight with and you're sad, you might want to have a little bit of a somber type of tune. Really is depending on what you're trying to convey in terms of the emotion, and you're emphasizing that emotion. The second type of sound that's added to your film score can be for your scenes or scene setting. Now, let's say we're talking about a city, Toronto, for example, and you're doing an extreme long shot, but then you go into a long shot and you show a specific neighborhood that you're trying to convey. Let's say the neighborhood's not that safe. Maybe you can have some distressful kind of music, something that's dangerous or evoking of that sort of sense where you feel uneasy or uncomfortable. That might be an example of a scene setting tune that could be created. The next is a filler tune. You don't necessarily have to use filler tunes all the time, because sometimes you can have a scene where there's no music at all, and that in itself is a great emotion evoking sort of tune, non-tunes. Now, when you're creating a filler tune, however, sometimes it's nice when maybe two people are talking or when someone's doing something. It's just music that fills the space, that void, that quietness that's there, because sometimes that quietness can create a little bit of uneasiness to your viewers. So having music or something that's softer or something that tunes out and it's just in the background might be helpful in adding in your film. The last one is, of course, your musical montage. Who doesn't love a great musical montage? It's one of my favorite scenes, whether you're doing, I don't know, a makeover or you're doing a transitional between how one person is before they were in the beginning of the film until they were at the end of the film. It doesn't really matter. It could be several songs or several tunes that are used. So those are some of the types of tunes that you can use, some of the types of ways that you can use music. All right, so I'm just going to do a really quick tutorial on how to add audio onto my clips. There are also a few rules that are involved when you're picking your song. So, I mean, for the most part, you can probably get away with using small bits of music, but you might not want to use music that's part of a label or something that's a mainstream song that's heard on the radio, because you can get into trouble, especially if you're uploading on YouTube for copyright, and especially because you don't have permission to use it. So instead of using those type of music, you might want to use something that's royalty free. For example, YouTube has a whole database of music that can be used. They recently added 1,000 more tracks to their audio list, so it's pretty amazing when you want to add this sort of music. So that's something that you want to take into consideration. So now let's just look at the clips that we have. I have just a few clips of me driving from Ottawa to Toronto. As you see, the audio is still pretty loud here. You know, this is me at a gas station, and then this is some really pretty driving scenario. Also, guys, always be careful when you're filming and putting a camera on a dashboard. You want to be careful because driving is the first priority is being careful when you're driving. So yeah, so these are the clips that I have, and I don't know, I mean, I'm thinking about it, and it's very beautiful. I remember when I was driving, I wanted to add some sort of really beautiful tune in this, and I might just want to leave this natural sound that's already there when I am filling my car with gas, which is kind of sounds like this. Sometimes natural sound can actually create a great emotion. You know, people can feel what they're seeing, and it's pretty awesome. But I would like to add some music to this area, and I want to add a little bit of a maybe I don't know, something that's a scene setting type of emotion that's beautiful, it's nice. So I'm just gonna look at my royalty-free music that I have here. I have a few folders that are up, so I'm going to pick maybe this one because I really like the sound of it. So I'm just going to click the song that I want, and I'm just going to drag it and place it above that area, which is right here. So as you can see, the full audio has been added, and it's pretty loud. And I love it. However, it's totally going over my audio and clip, which is right here, and it's kind of blocking out the music that's right here, the natural sound of the gas station. So I'm not a big fan of that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click this and drag it over so that it snaps to where I want it to start, which is right as I'm starting to drive. And as you can see, of course, the clip has extended into my next scene, which I don't want. So I'm going to just go to the end of that, and I'm going to cut this. So in order to cut, I'm going to use the blade tool, which is right here. I'm just going to trim it, and it acts just like any ordinary other ordinary clip. You can just clip it and you'll have that extra tail. So I'm just going to select the arrow tool, and I'm going to delete that. Now I have this awesome clip, however, it sounds weird because it ends weird and it starts weird and the audio is off, and I don't know how to fix it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of a keyframe. These are great for fixing your audio so it transitions nicely and it sounds good. So I'm just going to move them naturally. So at the end of most audio clips, you'll have two balls that look right here like that. And you have one on the other side as well. They're little green dots, and I'm gonna just move it over so it fades out. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side so it fades in. As you can see, it faded in really nicely. And it faded out pretty nicely too. However, I still think it's a little bit loud, so I want to reduce the audio just a little bit, and in order to do that, you can just reduce the audio like that. There's a little bar that's there. So I'm going to make it a little bit louder. That was really a basic tutorial on how to edit your audio for when you want to add tunes to a specific scene. However, you have to remember that adding these tunes can be very different when you're having 2 or 3 different types of conversations and you want to have 4 different types of tunes. It really is depending on what you're going to do, and I would suggest that you kind of play around with your tunes, see what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. But I hope this tutorial helped, and I hope you come back for more. I will talk to you guys very soon, and good luck with adding tunes to your filmmaking. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!